good evening, and welcome back to Bedtime Stories with the Bedtime Cocktail. Well, tonight, child, I don't have my book with me. I'm going to keep it 100. That's what we do here on my channel. I'm going to keep it 100. I don't have the book with me. I left it at work as I was reading chapter 22. But, child, I remember, okay? Patrick Farms, remember. So, and in the spirit of, I've already read this part of the book before anyway. All good. I'll just get it when I go back to work on tomorrow. And finish up that book, God's willing. If not, I guess what? Kiara's gonna get my money again because I'm determined to finish that book. Oh, okay. And because of that, once I get to the end of that book, okay, this just came to my mind. I'm going to give someone, if anybody's watching this on TikTok, because this part of the book is specifically for TikTok. I've already done chapters 1 through, I want to say 26 on YouTube. Okay, I just got this other book to finish up the chapter, so TikTok didn't get it, so I'm doing this for you. So, without any further ado, we're still sipping on that buttery rum. If you want to see how to make the buttery rum, look at the episode prior to this one that I posted earlier. It gives you how I made the buttery rum, okay? Okay, so let's get on into chapter 20 and 21 and part of 22. Okay, because I'm going to finish this book if I have to order that book again. Matter of fact, I'm going to put in an order tonight. I said what I said. Okay. So that I can get that book. Hopefully I can get it again, or I can get it on Kindle and I can continue reading it. But Kiara, the book is good. So let's go on. So in 19, okay, we're finding out that, just giving you a wrap up, last chapter in 19, we find out that Nitro decided to come back to Nashville to take care of a little business. And his business apparently involved Ivy because he came and checked her out. He found out she was pregnant, of course. She didn't say who the father was, and she was hoping that her knowing that Nitro came would put her in good standings. Now, prior to Nitro coming to visit, Iviana is her real full name, government name. Okay, she had answered De Niro's phone when Kyra called her, old child, and caused Kyra to crash out after a wonderful day at the shop, child. So she drank herself into a stupor, and here comes the first part of chapter 20. So after drinking a damn near a whole bottle of Hennessy, well, maybe not alone. Her, Diamond and Denise got towed down from the flow down. Okay, or towed up from the flow up, both ways. They was towed up and down, child. And so, Kyra wakes up to snoring. She's like, what? Now, mind you, if you are an adult and if you've ever drank heavily, the next morning is, ooh, child. If you've ever drank to the point that you're vomiting, child, the next morning is not a beautiful situation unless you have gotten your water up. Okay? If you got your water up, good for you. So, okay, so she wakes up to hearing snoring. She's in the bed with De Niro. Now, mind you, remember, They got in an argument when she found out that Aviana was pregnant, but not necessarily that she was pregnant, but because he had sexual relations with a stripper with no condom on. That was the biggest deal. Not just the baby, but then also knowing that she has to do it. You know this. You know this. We already know this. We're adults here. We know the issues of having to deal with a person that your significant other cheated with and the child that comes of that. Well, child. She wakes up. She's drunk. She's hungover. She's like, where the hell am I? She kind of, you know how it is. You rub your eyes. You look around slowly. She noticed that there's a trash can by the bed, so she must have been vomiting. She was toe up. She's trying to remember what happened the night before. As she's remembering, she called De Niro to see if he picked up Danelle, their daughter, and hearing Aviana pick up the phone. So she looks over and she recognizes that De Niro may have noticed her movement, and he wakes up and, basically welcomes her home, and he's like, she knows she's mad at him for something, but she can't remember why. Okay, that happens when you drink heavily, child. Sometimes when you pass out, when you drink enough that you pass out, you tend to not know how you got to the position that you're in. You just know that you're safe, you're not hurt. She knew she was home. Oh, prior to this, remember that she was staying at Diamond's condo because she was so pissed off at De Niro. Now, so De Niro basically, she's like, why am I here? And De Niro is like, come on, girl. This is where you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be in the bed with me. Stop playing. And she basically explains, I know I'm supposed to be mad at you, but I don't know why. So he explains, basically, my sister and Diamond got tore up, needed to be picked up. I picked y'all girls up, okay? And I put you to bed. You're welcome, right? And she's like, F you. But, then this was the opportunity. He took this opportunity to express himself honestly and tell her, look, girl, hey, girl. No, I'll say, look, girl, look, baby girl, I'm so sorry for all the hurt that I've caused you. But no, I'm really trying to do right. I'm trying to find our son. The whole thing. He's just really copping a plea. And in her heart, she wanted to jump in his arms and say, baby, it's okay. I love you. Right? But if she must be a Capricorn because she got a point proof, it's like, but no, she didn't do it. She wanted to, though. These are the little games that Denise is saying that they be playing. So moving on. So they in so many words they make up. She's not gonna go back over to Diamonds that I know of. Okay, she's not going back over there. She's back home. So, he cops a plea. He gets a call from his boy Turk. Well, his now boy Turk. Because before, it's the whole thing. Just his boy Turk called him to hip him up on the fact that De Niro was back in town. That's right, child. De Niro was back in town. And child, we heard he was over your baby mama's house. He looked back at Kyra, never even connected that you got another chick pregnant. He's like, Kyra's right here. He said, no, your other baby mama. Oh, her. This? What? I said, oh, bet. Keep me posted on what you heard. Okay? and I'm gonna go and visit my baby mom, right? So he hangs up with Turk. Um, Kyra's looking at him now. This is after she realizes that she lost the burner phone that Nurse Gabby gave her only connection to her son. She's looking at she's Smooth got knocked out of grief when she heard him look at her or say something about Nitro. And Kyra, when he hung up, she said, "What?" He said, "Girl, Turk just called me and told me that Nitro's back in town." She said, "What? Grief? Where? What tears?" The tears have vanished from her face. Okay, where he at? Word on the street, he went to visit Ivy. Oh, he said, "I'm going to visit her." And he went to grab some gray sweatpants. Kyra said, I wish a nigga would. Excuse my language, those who are offended by the N-word. But that's what she said. Well, not in the book. You have to get the book. Go on Amazon and get the book. Like I'm going to do it again. Okay? I'm going to give her my money again. That's how good this book is. Okay? So she, and it's so good that I remember it. I read it twice. Okay, so she's like, I wish you would go out here with them gray sweatpants. He might as well come out there with boxes with the hole open. You must, I wish you would. I done done the same thing. Girl, I'm with you, Kyra, on that one. So he switched clothes. He said, not only, he said, and you not going over there, we is going over there. Okay? He said, okay. He said, but please, in the interim, on the ride there, he's like, look, please let me do the talking. I need to get as much information out of her before I need to know. I was like, she was like, I then. She was like, I then. So they get there, they pull up. He reminds her, behave, let me do the talking. She's like, all right. So he says he reached into his waistband to get his pistol, and he look over and he see his girl doing the same thing. He said that was kind of sexy because us both going in there like, ha, gotcha, bitch. It's just a little thing. He had a little moment on the fact that she looked so sexy because she was going for her gun too, and she doesn't seem like the type that would be a beast with the pistol. Okay? Skilled is what I'm saying. And it was a moment of like, that's my woman. That's my girl. That's my girl. Right? And so, but they get in there. He knocks on the door. Ivy answers the door with half nothing on. Pregnant, belly out, bra and panties on. Like, who answers the door like that? Plus, Kyra was standing right next to him, so apparently she didn't see her. She just saw him. And she opens the door. He's like, come on, put some clothes on, girl. And Kyra said, I'm gonna need to come. Every time you come over here, she answering the door like this. And he looks at her like, zip it. I mean, but I didn't done the same thing, Kyra. I'm on your side on this one too. I would have said something. I'm gonna have to come every time. Hell, I see you. I see what you're doing. Of course, I'd be asking, what's she doing here? That's not your problem. Okay? So she goes and puts on a robe, and they commits to asking her questions, or rather, he commits to asking her questions, and you know, I think Kyra said something about like De Niro was telling her Nitro is dangerous, you need to leave her alone or something, and Kyra's like, you need to be, whatever the situation is. She said something that made Aviana say, I know you ain't talking about my mother, and who gives up their child because they don't like the baby daddy. Girl, me and Kyra went off on Ivy because Ivy is stupid. I mean, she's stupid. Okay? Ivy smacked her in the face because she did warn De Niro about that baby mama. She said, next time I see her on sight, it said, I'm going to beat her all in her face. Her face ain't pregnant. Okay? In her face. So that's exactly what she did, because Ivy went off and try to check Kyra. Kyra checked her with her fist. And then commits to correcting her. And it said, how can you be so stupid to believe what this Negro said? You should know that. You know how he act. How you gonna believe him? What would make you think that I would give up a child because I ain't like, girl, you stupid. And side note, let me tell you something. People will believe a lie if it's the lie that they want to hear. Ivy believed that because she wanted to believe that Kyra was a bad mother. Okay, that she wasn't a good woman. Because she had full intentions on stealing De Niro from Kyra. Now, if you get a Savage and his lady, and you go back when they first met or reconnected, notice I said reconnected. That means they knew each other in the past. He used to date her back in high school. Okay? Or at least in his he did date her before. Okay? And Kyra knew of her. Because remember, De Niro and Kyra are best friends from childhood. And when I say childhood, I'm talking about elementary. So she's seen all the chicks that he's had throughout the years while they were trying to fake like they didn't love each other. And Ivy was one of them. Ivy wasn't really trying to steal De Niro from her. She's just trying to get him back. Okay? At this point, now, as a baby mama, now my baby is an adult, but a baby mama, you do tend to have a little bit of feelings for the man you got pregnant from, depending on how it was, yeah, you have a little, you can't carry somebody's child and not have some type of feelings towards them. Okay? Get it back on track. So, after she smacked her up and knocked some sense into her, Ivy started giving up information, telling them that Nitro said that he was in Atlanta right now, and that's all she really knew. So unfortunately, girl, she didn't get a chance to tell De Niro. If she would have told him immediately after Nitro left that he was in town, she would have been. So her hopes of getting back good with De Niro by telling him about Nitro is out the door because Turk then stole her shine. Moving on. So now we know where it is. They left it like that in chapter 20. In 21, we come into. Hold on for a minute. Hold on. They got drunk. She, they went over there. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So I'm trying to remember if them going over there was in chapter 21. And I'm thinking it is. Is in chapter 21. So I pretty much just did 2 chapters in a row. Hold on. Wait for it. They found out. Okay. Now, okay, yes. Chapter 21. Chapter 20 is with them going to see Ivy and getting the pertinent information that he's in Atlanta or living in Atlanta. He doesn't know, she doesn't know why he's here or whatever the situation. He just knows that he has moved to Atlanta and it's assumed that the baby's there. Okay, chapter 21 starts off with them knowing that information. It starts off that it's 2 months later after this whole situation, and it's Valentine's Day. It's February, and well, Valentine's Day is pending. It's coming up, and Kyra's in her office. She's still on the hunt for her baby. She don't care about nothing else but that baby, and her, working at the shop, which keeps her mind busy and not constantly seeking her son. This just keeps her mind off all the BS that's going on. And she's in her office looking, still searching for her son. And that's when De Niro comes in her office or in the office or whatever room in the house. Because, they do the street pharmaceuticalism, so they got a nice house where they both have an office, I guess. So, De Niro sticks his head in and he comes in and he's like, hey, baby, I got something special for Valentine's Day. And Kyra's like, nigga, I can care less about Valentine's Day. My son is out there with a crazy ass ninja, okay? And I want my son. I want my whole family. I just don't want you and Danelle. I want Cairo too. FYI, she decided to name him Cairo in chapter 19, by the way. And she's like, this is insignificant without my son. I don't care about nothing. Now, what she doesn't know is he was planning on proposing. I was going to hide it from you, but you're going to find out later on. Once you get the book, you read chapter 21, you're going to realize that's what he's going to do. He was going to propose to her. Spoiler alert, I guess. Too late. Spoiler alert. Read the book. Okay? We haven't got to the point because he never got to it. Because they started arguing because she was like, I don't give a damn buoyancy about Valentine's Day if my son is still out there and not in my arms right now. And she feels like she's the only one looking for their son. Whereas then he's being more tempered with it. She is going hard. Her whole being is to find him. And that's what a mother does. A mother is going to search for her baby. Okay? Now, not all moms go hard like that. Like, I'm the type of person, I'm more like De Niro. I'm going to temper myself. Now, I'm going to do that now. Now, me in my 20s, their age, in this book, nigga, I'm tearing the city up. Okay? But me at 54 in January 5th, go ahead. Y'all can start doing the cash apps now. Okay? I'm more tempered. I'm more strategic. And De Niro is more strategic, whereas in Kyra, she's about results. And she's getting them with Diamond Child. Child. Because remember, oh, you don't remember. Did I tell you in chapter 20? Oh, no, it don't come yet. I won't tell you. I won't tell you yet. It hasn't came up yet. So they got in an argument, and it just what he was planning, kind of gets botched. The proposal gets botched because she doesn't care. She just wants her son. Okay, and he's not reading that in Kyra. That's young and dumb mistakes. That's what happens in young relationships. And young relationships, but ones that are meant to be together, they're gonna go through ups and downs. You're gonna go through arguments. You're gonna go through temporary breakups until it happens, child. And this is what's happening here. So the children, for a moment, I was speaking to my future. I was speaking to my future. Y'all don't understand. For a minute there, for a second, I was speaking to my future. But either way, so after the argument, he gets a call from Ivy, his other baby mom. And her water done broke. And she is hysterical. She doesn't know what to do. She kind of, at this point, I'm feeling like she's desperate to have this baby. Not because she so desperately wants to be a mother, but because it connects her to De Niro. And if she loses this child, she no longer has any connection to De Niro, and De Niro gives a F about her. Because that's the only reason he even showing her any type of attention. Is because, and I wonder. Now, I'm saying this like this is a real book or true story or whatever, but let's wonder as if it was true. I wonder if Ivy always knew that Kyra was in the picture and that she was a threat from high school. Just a thought. Just a thought. Now, so he goes into the questioning have you called the doctor? Is this normal? Are you going to the hospital? You need to go ahead and get to the hospital if this is not normal, right? So she's hysterical. He said, go to the hospital. I'll meet you there. So he goes to the hospital. He sees Kyra looking out the window as he's leaving out the door, like, I said, he questions, should I tell her what's going on, or it's like, whatever. Because really, the real argument was not about that he wasn't looking for Cairo, but because he didn't put Ivy in the same position he put her. Okay? And I think personally, okay, if you go back a few chapters, when Kyra finds out she's pregnant and she believes it's Nitro's, De Niro got her firearm lessons, so she knows how to handle a firearm. Okay? And when he got put in jail on some false BS that his other girlfriend, crazy ass girlfriend, did to set him up for a fall, okay? She was set up to Nitro. He put her in harm's way, but he won't do Ivy in that way. Okay, I'm gonna play Kyra for a second. Boop. How you gonna put me in harm's way, which what resulted in me being kidnapped, R word, raped multiple times, and induced into giving labor, and the child that I thought was his is now yours. But you're not trying to do Ivy that way? Are you serious? Why you care about that girl so much? And it's not that. It's because I really believe that De Niro was willing to put Kyra child in danger to take out that cancer called Nitro. Because he didn't believe that was his child. If he knew that that was his child in her belly, he would have never asked her to do it. The difference between Kyra and Ivy is he believes that the child that Ivy's carrying is his child. And that's what made the difference. He loves her. He treated her like she didn't have a baby inside of her. And that's what hurts Kyra. Is that you were putting me in that same situation when you thought that this child was Nitro's. But now that you treat her this way. You know, and from a woman's point of view, it's like you should put her in the same harm's way as you did for me. But from a man's point of view, it's like she's carrying my seed. I know for a fact she's carrying my seed. You was carrying that demon seed. And if you miscarried the demon seed, you understand, you feel what I'm saying? Okay, moving on. So he gets to the hospital, and Ivy is hooked up to all these monitors. He could tell that she was crying and she was crashing out over the whole situation, which is normal. He checks on her. He talks to the nurse. He finds out that she's not in labor, but this is a premature water birth, which happens sometimes. The best thing, she's explained to them that the best thing to do is keep the baby in there as long as we can before we induce labor, because he needs as much as mommy as possible. So once he got the information from someone who's calm and know what they're talking about, a nurse. First of all, big up to all the nurses. Give me a nurse before you give me a doctor. Anyway, moving on. So he went there, he calms, he's like, look, everything's fine. We just, whatever the situation. She has to stay in there for bed rest until whatever happens, whatever the situation with the baby. So he steps out of the room, he calls Kyra like he should have said before. Not that she would have cared. I kind of feel De Niro on that one. It's like, So he called her. She didn't answer. He left a voicemail, told her what was going on. Smart, De Niro. You need to do that more often, all of y'all, okay? Soon as something happens, you need to be contacting your significant other, okay? So she gets the voicemail. She hears it. She's like, I might not care about that chick, but I don't want nothing to happen to her baby. That baby didn't deserve none of this. I don't want that for her. As a mother, I wouldn't want that for her. You know what I'm saying? So Kyra still has some humanity. But also, forget that chick. Okay? So she continues on and with what she's doing. she gets a knock at her door. She's home again. Now, mind you, she's home again at home. And she gets a knock at the door, and it's her friend Diamond. Diamond with the information. She comes in, she has her, she said, who you love and why do you love her? He's like, what girl, what you got going on, Kyra says. You know, he's like, girl, I got some more information. We done pinged her in Lithonia and da-da-da, whatever. So she's giving information. So she got a lot of information. So she's making shrimp Alfredo. Specifically, that's what it said in the book. She was making shrimp Alfredo when Diamond came to the door and drinking wine and just kind of like chilling out. She knows where De Niro is. She's not going to bother him when it comes to that. You know, he understands that. Let him be there. Okay, and really honestly, Ivy doesn't need her to be there because she could stress out and cause it could be worse because Kyra's there. So she's letting him handle his business. And she tells her as she's sipping wine and pouring her a glass of wine, so you know, I'm going to Atlanta, right? He said, you're not going to tell De Niro? Absolutely not. I'm going by hook or by crook, by myself or with the whole fucking crew. I'm going to Atlanta. And you, ma'am, don't be blabbing your mouth to your man, telling him where I'm at. Okay? Don't even tell it to the niece nosy behind. I'm going to Atlanta. Atlanta. I'm going to Atlanta. I think so. Okay, not I don't think so. I think so. She was going to get her child. She said, what you going to do when you get there? It said, find my baby. I'm a scout out some places, some of the places that you done showed me on. Tell me where you done ping Gabby at the gas station. Yes. Okay, she was going to get her child. And she said, okay. And that's how chapter 21 ends. Now, in 2022, in chapter 22, Chad, she's preparing to go to Atlanta. And we're going to find out what happens. Will she get help? Will she get what she needs? And that would be some artillery and some firearms. That's what it is. So that if she needs to handle business, she can handle business. She's not waiting for De Niro. So that is it for the bedtime stories. Next time I'm going to have the book. You need to read this book. I'm going to finish this book before the end of the year. Apparently, it's not going to be during this Sunday. It's not happening. It's not happening Sunday. So, let's see. Hopefully, I can get that book by Monday if I order it again, just in case I lost it. But if I lost the book, I'll have it, and I will give it away. If I have a second book, that's what it is. Okay, now I said I will give away a book. This is it. If you made it to the end, this is where I'm going to give away the book. If I have that book at home and I order another one, the second one will be given away. So, again, if I find my book and I order a second one, the second one will be for whoever wins. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to raffle it off, though. Anyway, bye. That's all I have for you. Until next time.